kind of answered the question already, and I was going to ask you, are the Oklahoma City Thunder, now with all the free agent acquisitions that they've made, are they the team to beat in the Western Conference?
That's so disrespectful of the Nuggets for me to say this. And um, you know,
Okay.
I think Isaiah Hartenstein, he just broke his
Yep.
hand or something. So he's going to miss the beginning of the season. But then it's like he was a free agent acquisition anyway, so it's not like
Yep.
something that they had been prepared for and had as part of the team. I think my boy, Shay down there, I think he's gonna I think the MVP odds for him are really, really good this year, and I would not be surprised, barring more injury, if this is not the number one seed in the West by a comfortable margin. It's
Yeah.
another year older for Jokic. Jamal Murray has just not. He's been so good, but I think you search for a next level for a player like that, and the level he's been,
Yep.
a next
Yep.
level for Michael Porter, and I just don't know if they've gotten there. So, and then what? Minnesota just bounces Karl Anthony Towns out of town, and I love the DiVincenzo addition. I don't really
Yeah.
know where big rumbling, bumbling, stumbling.
Rudy Gobert.
No, damn it! The
Oh.
the came over from the Knicks, drafted by the Lakers. I always remember the stupid information. Julius Randle. I don't know where.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I don't know where all that fits in with them, so it's going to be super interesting. I'm hoping that Ant goes like super nuclear this year and becomes like, holy shit,
Yeah.
that's the greatest basketball player in the world, because he is so fun to
Yeah.
watch. But
Yep.
I still think it's the Thunder.
With the Wolves thing, it's definitely interesting. You have guys like Julius Randle, and you have guys like Rudy Gobert, and I just the team composition is strange for Ant, where he's almost going to be forced to stay out of the paint a little bit more because of the way he plays. He plays super aggressive. He's a slasher. He lives and breathes driving in, and he's super explosive doing that, right? We see a couple of NBA players who are in that same type of degree, and now you're bringing guys who are, or a guy like Julius Randle, who's clogging the paint, while Cat kind of, he brought spacing to that team. He is one of, if not the greatest big man shooter of all time. He's just in that type of realm. So getting rid of one of those spacing guys and then bringing in a guy who clogs the paint, it's a little bit difficult to see how it's going to work with Ant. But so that's the Wolves. When it comes to the Nuggets, the Nuggets have a really, really short bench. Their bench depth is just, I think, not all there. I think, and then when it comes to Dallas, their bench is kind of unproven for the most part because of a lot of the guys that they've gotten rid of and some of the guys that they're now bringing in. It's kind of hard to see how all these pieces are going to be fitting together. So yeah, I think the Thunder are probably the team to beat. At least they're going to be that one seed more likely than not. I think we're on the same type of boat there, right? They won 57 games last year, and they won a playoff series. They don't need to do much to prove themselves, except just to drive past that point. They didn't need to go get all of this stuff, right? They didn't need to go get Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein. They could have just built off of who they had, right? Built off of Aaron Wiggins and Cason Wallace and Isaiah Joe and J-Dub and all these guys, just continue to develop their best players. But they got one of the best rim protectors in the league in Hartenstein. Like you said, he's going to be out like 5 to 6 weeks. So in the beginning of the season, and then Caruso, one of the best defenders, perimeter defenders in this league right now. So they're going all in. They're telling the league, hey, we surprised you last year. This year, don't be surprised, and we're getting better. So I think the starting lineup is probably going to be Shea, Alex, Lou Dort, J-Dub, and Chet. Not a whole lot of holes there on the starting lineup. Every single guy can shoot. Every guy can defend at a high level. They got a future MVP right there, maybe this year's MVP. I think the OKC Thunder are the team to beat in the West. I think it's by far. I think a lot of those teams, the Nuggets, might be slowly slugging down just because, again, not a lot to their bench. Their players aren't taking that next step up after winning a championship. And Dallas is just kind of hard to gauge on how good they're going to be. So I think that's how good they are. I think it's just solid. They're the team to beat. My one thing, though, my number one thing about this team Who's going to be the primary ball handler and the offensive creator on this team once Shea goes to the bench? I don't know who it is. That's the biggest problem that they had last year. That's the biggest problem they have this year. I don't know who it's going to be. Do you have any like guesses or estimations on who that guy's going to be? Because Alex Caruso isn't that type of guy, right? A guy they brought in. And does a guy step up on this bench team to be that guy? That's the problem I'm having.
Well, you're hoping that a Holmgren takes a step forward. You're hoping that a Cason Wallace takes a step forward. You really, really hope for Jalen Williams. Frankly, if you're looking at that roster and you're like, who's taking the next? You know what I mean? You hope it's Jalen Williams. It's funny because getting back into NBA mode here, you're talking about who's going to be that creator? Who's going to do that thing when he goes to the bench? I'm like, well, it's Josh Giddey, dude. Like, of course it's Josh Giddey. He ain't on the team anymore. It ain't Josh Giddey. So there is a little bit of a hole there, but I just think that's such a small concern when you consider the options to knock them off in the number 1 seed. For many, many years now, Jokic has just been holy fucking awesome. Is he going to be holy fucking awesome this year? Jamal Murray's performance in the playoffs and then his performance in the Olympics hasn't been great, at least not to the level it needs to be. So we're just going to assume that now coming into the season, he's going to turn it on. Dallas is questionable. Like, realistically, is the conversation centered around the Phoenix Suns? Like, is that like, can the Phoenix Sun, you know what I mean? Like, is that who we're talking about? Can the Phoenix Suns knock them off for the number 1 seed? Does anybody believe in that team outside of the owner? But with all the questions that there are out there, honestly, let me tell you this. What about the Pelicans? Why not? Point Zion.
Yep.
Of course, I think the Pelicans are the greatest team in the NBA because they beat us fucking 17 times last year in a row. So I may be, I may be, I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of teams that the Phoenix Suns and the Denver Nuggets kind of feel like the twilight of those franchises, and it's sad to say. And maybe Jokic is good for another number of years, but what's Durant doing this year? What's Devin Booker doing this year? I won't mention anyone else because we might
talk about it.
Yeah. We might not talk. We might talk about them later, but and Budenholzer, it's just like when I think of if like snap judgments, like our other podcasts. Okay, Booker, Durant, Bill, they're going to lead the league in blank, and I'm like, missed games. Like, that's what they're going to lead the league in. They're going to lead the league in missed games. Like, can we count on this team? Probably not. The West is wide open. I'm picking the Kings. Defense. Let's fucking go.
The Kings are competing for the 1 seed this year. How this isn't a team that we're going to talk about, but I just kind of want to ask the question real quick. Is how high does Houston go? Because Houston just barely missed the playoffs last year. I remember at the end of the season they were on a like really nice roll, and then the Mavs beat them, and then they kind of just like trickled off after that. How good is Houston this year? Did they make it in that play-in type thing? They didn't have Sengun, Şengün when they were doing that run. So that next step,
you can't see me shaking my head, but I'm shaking my head.
No, you don't think they're going to make it?
Memphis, the Lakers, the Clippers. Mm-hmm. We haven't even talked about these teams yet. The Golden State Warriors. The Lakers are going to make the playoffs, right? The Clippers, I mean, I love the Kawhi is out indefinitely. Yeah, no shit. Kawhi is always out indefinitely. The Warriors, like, they're not just going to waste away. They've tried to trade for everybody, right? They're going to trade for somebody. The Warriors are going to trade for somebody at the deadline, and him and Steph are going to go berserko. Right. Shit, It might be LeBron, if you believe the rumors out here. Every Warriors podcast is talking about how they're going to get LeBron. I don't know how that's going to work when the Lakers just drafted their son, so I wouldn't count on it. But I hate Warriors fans, you get one, just so you know. And I get so much freaking I get so much crossover because of the 49ers out here that I have to listen to these Warriors fans. And it's like, grab the nearest
Like you're the
screwdriver
same
and
type
put it
of
into my
person.
eyeball, please. Exactly.